You are a brand new real estate agent and you just got a buyer lead in. What do you do? What do you do? Chillax. I got you. I'll walk you through the whole process. Let's go. How you guys doing? Sascha Chatman, Chatman Realty Group, DFW's favorite realtor, real estate tech ninja, and I'm here to coach you on what you do when you get a buyer lead in. So let's go through the entire process. All right, so the first thing I do, obviously when I get a lead in, no matter what it is, I'm calling them. I'm going to call them 2 or 3 times. I will back up and dial again and again and again until I can get them, okay? Now, let's say I don't get them on the phone, I'm texting them or whatever, but most importantly, I'm going to start sending them homes. Why? Because I want them to get into my system and I want them to start looking at houses. Obviously, people like to look at houses, and I would rather them look at houses on my website, Chatman Realty Group. It's better than Zillow and Realtor.com. Just saying, put a lot of money into that website. But you want to get them in your system. So I make some assumptions based off what they're looking for. So no matter how the lead came in, whether it be my website or Zillow or whatever, I see that they're looking at this certain house or certain houses in a certain price range. And a certain dollar amount, and I create a search based off of that. I go no more than 3 to 4 miles out the area that they're looking in, and I do that, and I get that over to them right away with a message from me saying, hey, I created the search for you, etc., etc. I'm looking to get back with you and talk to you on the phone. Try to set the appointment. Let's assume I've already done that, and I've got the buyer appointment. I got a buyer consult. That's the next step. When do you do it? Well, I try to do it as soon as possible. I will do that buyer consultation over Zoom. I will do it in person. And yes, I will go show them a house or two so I can get them to understand what they're looking for. And I know people say, wait a minute, you shop buyers who are not pre-approved? Yeah, I do. They're right here in my area. It is for me to sit down with somebody and actually have a conversation with them, and I'm showing them a home and whatnot. Now I do it in a safe way. Let me say that. Be safe first things. But I make sure that I can get an understanding of what they're looking for. And people like to look at houses, and I can understand their body language and what they're looking for, and I can start the education process. Too many agents are trying to hit a home run. Like the first time a lead comes in, let's go. And they don't nurture their leads, and they don't process those leads appropriately. Meaning, I know that sometimes you got to hit a single, a double, heck, sometimes you got to bunt. Just get on base with them so that you can start gaining their trust. All right, you need to gain and earn their trust and educate them along the way. All right. So once I have the consultation, I am getting everything I need to get out of them, what they're looking for, their time frame, how many bedrooms, baths, what location, schools, do they have any kids? I am trying to figure out how to best process them and get them matched up with the proper home. And now I have their expectations, their wants, and their needs. And now I can really go to work. So this is the process in the consultation where you got to ask questions and you got to listen. Talk less, listen more. If you're just running the whole consultation, you're not listening. You're not listening at all. So it's very important that you ask the right questions and that you are actually listening to them. And then from that perspective, the next step is I revise their search. And I get them started down the education process to help bridge the gap between what they know about buying a house and actually get them to being able to buy a home. And everyone is at a different point and different stops. If you don't do this, you will be facing a ton of objections down the road. Objections come from buyers who are misinformed or not educated in the buyer process. It is your job as a realtor to help them understand the buying process and understand their options. And if you don't know that, you need to learn the options yourself. Now, you don't have to do this alone. You should have a good lender there with you. If they need credit repair, you should have a good credit individual who's going to be helping you as well in getting them to understand this process. But that's where you need to get them going, down the education process. A well-informed buyer is an easy buyer to work with. But those who don't know the process, they don't trust you. They don't know what you're really talking about, and they are really misinformed on what's going on. If you're not giving them the knowledge, they're getting the knowledge from somewhere else, and that can be a dangerous thing because we all know there's a lot of misinformation about the home buying process out there. All right? Now, we're going down to pre-approval. Now, keep in mind, this timeline depends on what's going on with your client, right? So we're going down the pre-approval process. I'm going to be getting them to work with a good lender to get them pre-approved. My lender and I work very hand in foot, or was it hand in glove? Whatever. But we work very well together to make sure that we get them educated and going down the process. Here's the point. If they're ready to buy a house, they'll go for the pre-approval. If they don't do the pre-approval, they're not ready. And so you have that conversation a couple of times. And I bluntly say, like, hey, when you're ready to do this, you got to get pre-approved. If you don't, you'll know what's going on. If they don't want their credit pulled, I just tell them flat out. So you want someone to fix your car without looking under the hood? That's how this is. You want your doctor to give you medicine without looking at your body? That's exactly what this is. If you want to buy a house, you have to get pre-approved unless you have cash. If they're not doing that point, they're not ready. Or there's not a trust there with you or something's not right. And your job is to figure that out. All right. Now, from there, we're house hunting. They want a good search. We're going to look at houses. I have done a great job in educating them, so I'm not dealing with a whole lot of objections at that point. It's more information, and I got them understanding what it needs to be to make a strong offer, and we're going there. So I am never HGTV in this thing. I am not going to take a buyer who's pre-approved for $300,000 who tells me the right price point for them is $250,000. I'm not taking the $300,000. I'm not taking the $315,000. Don't do that. You will lose your client. Straight up. You will lose your client because you're trying to force a house on them that is way too expensive. So don't do that. Make sure you understand what they're looking for. And if their wallet and their eyes are not meeting, now it's time for that conversation. And that conversation is simple. Okay, we're either going to have to expand your area to find what you're looking for, or you got to change your price point because what you're looking for does not exist in this price point. Okay? Or it can exist in this price point, but in a different area. Is that acceptable or not? That's the conversation you got to have with them. Show them make sure they understand what their options are. A lot of times agents just get frustrated and don't want to have that conversation and try to force something down a buyer's throat, and then they lose that client and that client's gone. If you're forcing stuff on a buyer, probably not a good real estate agent. You don't need to do that. I don't like people trying to force sell something to me. And when someone tries to force sell something to me, I naturally pull away or I confront them and tell them, hey, we're done. All right. So don't be that person. All right. Once you have them under contract, you want to make sure they're educated, make sure that they're buying a good home, help them through this process, take care of them through the contract, and then help them close on the house. And if you do all that, they'll refer a lot of people to you. Get them to do a nice video for you, get them to do a nice testimonial, and ask them for a referral. And call and check on them again and again and again. Okay? If you do that, you can have a nice, thriving business. But when you get a brand new lead in, that's all you have to do. Rinse and repeat, guys. Rinse and repeat. If you have any questions, please let me know. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will look forward to helping you out. Like to coach you up. Coach you if you need some coaching. And if you're curious about joining EXP, we do training and education like this all day, every day with our network. And we would love to have you come over. All right? Peace.